Gamification is a big issue coming to the fore in recent times with technology enablement, and I suppose case in point would be the EBnet conference that we're running on a gamification platform very successfully, our fourth in a row this year. And there's a massive application, I think, in financial services. And I'm joined today by Mr. Glen Gillis, who's the CEO and co-founder of SeaMonster, a company that specializes in this field. And they've done some extraordinary things for a variety of companies. And Glen, please share some of your experience with us. Good day.
Good day, Chris, and thank you very much indeed for the opportunity. I think putting users at the center of any experience makes it better. And our real area of expertise is actually in impact gaming. And what an impact game is a game that is serving a purpose other than pure entertainment. So it's driving a business outcome, a marketing goal, or a learning goal. And so we do apply our knowledge in non-game areas, and I guess that's the definition of gamification. But if you think about the financial services world that we operate in, it's highly complex, it's highly regulated, and it's highly emotional. People look at their retirement statements or the performance of their portfolio, and I don't know about you, but it's always a psychological response rather than a logical one that kind of underpin these things. And so, over the last 12 odd years, we've worked with many of the biggest pension fund administrators, insurance companies, and banks to really take our insights around games, put users at the center of that experience, and trying to really empower users to make the best decisions that they can. We know that the financial behavior is best nudged. It's not something that is easily changed. It's this emotional process, and it's something that happens gradually over time. And that's really where we love the power of gamification and impact games more specifically.
Now, you've done a few. I mean, can you perhaps give us, without giving too much IP away, I suppose, but maybe share one or two that you guys have done in the past for, in the financial services arena?
Absolutely, I'd love to do that. And I think maybe I'll play to the stereotype first, and then what I'll do is I'll dispel the myth around who games. So I think most people think, games are kind of what kids do. And so, yep, that's absolutely true. We built a game for Nedbank in Roblox. It's called a tycoon game. And so you start off, with a very small restaurant, essentially a shop on the side of the road, and you can upgrade your restaurant, you can hire equipment and people, and that's what the tycoon genre is about. But for Nedbank, it was very, very strategic. It was understanding their future value proposition, future customers. Kids want to game, parents want to impart the best knowledge that they can and get kids to at least play good games. And of course, Nedbank, like many other banks, are really good at understanding what good financial behavior looks like. So that's for young kids, 10 to 12, as their core market. It's been a breakout success. It's one of the most successful digital engagements ever for the Nedbank group. Right. For Capitec, we built a game for young adults, which helps them set dreams and look at how they play those games and set those dreams and try and fail. And we look at the patterns in those data. And again, we're teaching people there a sense of future orientation. But let me jump to the things that are non-stereotypical. For Alexander Forbes, we built a thing called My Retirement Picture, which is for people literally nearing retirement, looking at what their futures are going to look like. And again, it's a scary thought. Your die is cast. This is how much money you have. And so it's a visual calculator come toy, in that there's no win state, but what it allows people to do is look at their lives, think about what that next 3, 5, 8 or 10 years might look like, roll it back, play out different scenarios, make different informed decisions. And that's hooked into the actuarial tables that underpin the performance of your portfolio. So that's as real as it gets. And then maybe just to finish off, we've also designed a game for banks in the UK who need their credit committees to now consider ESG scoring as part of their financial calculus. These are the most conservative people, literally trained not to have emotions, to apply this thing mercilessly and make, the decisions around how to allocate capital. Right. Well, now suddenly there's this fuzzy thing called ESG, and we built them a game. It's called a business simulator, by the way. We didn't want to scare them too much, but it is in fact a game where they now need to think about highly complex, highly interconnected things, and a game does that really, really brilliantly.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's interesting, and you make mention of the statistics. I mean, I believe, just looking at the gaming world, that the average gamer age seems to be around 34. Those are the people that are all gainfully employed by you and me and everybody else. That's the workforce. Excuse me.
Spot on, Chris. And I think it is important that we make decisions that are based on data and not preconceptions. We're not like an ad agency pitching a big idea or something. I mean, we do have big ideas, but those are driven by actual data. And if you look at that, some of the most highly engaged gamers in the world are 35 to 55-year-old women. The so-called Candy Crush generation. They spend more time and more money gaming than actually young people. And here's the thing, back to your point about gamification. Gamification is really nothing more than looking at the data that informs how people engage with the world, how people change their behavior, how we use a combination of internal and external motivation. These are things that are true for all humans. And that's what makes it so powerful. It's a scientific way to systematically keep your user at the center of an experience, whether that be a marketing or a learning or some other kind of experience. Right. That really, it's the essence. Sometimes I like to say it's common sense applied repeatedly in a systematic way.
Got you. And I think you're also to the point that you made earlier. I mean, financial services it's a very difficult concept to depict out in the real world. It's very difficult to grasp and to fathom, because it's all these intangibles that lying somewhere down the road. So putting that into a nice storyline and telling a story around that, pushing that narrative in terms of saving and all of that stuff, I think if you use this kind of platform, it then forms those very clear pictures for people to be able to understand and wrap their minds around. And I think that helps immensely in the educational and financial planning kind of processes that we all have to go through. All right, 100%.
Yeah, just to comment on that briefly, absolutely, it's a visualization challenge. We all struggle to think about what the future looks like. We're not very good at that as humans. We miss things. But I think there's something else in what you're saying too, and that is that, for too long, I think the industry lived on selling fear. And you'll know that, we don't have a great reputation out there often. And I'm victim to this too, even when, oh my God, what's going to go wrong here? And okay, But actually what I need to do is gradually change my behavior every single day. Yeah. And that's where gamification can also play a really powerful thing. That constant nudging in the right direction is a much better long-term motivator than the quick fear-based approach, which maybe makes you buy the wrong product or make the wrong decision in the short term and ultimately doesn't set you up for long-term success. So it's getting that balance right.
Absolutely. What I've also understand from the sort of integrated learning or immersive learning through AR and VR and all these technologies is your retention of your information that you've learned as an individual is, 10 times higher, I suppose, than having sat down and watched a video or some guy with a PowerPoint presentation. You just retain, having gone through the experience, having gone through the story, that tends to stick in your mind, and you retain that information for much, much longer periods of time, which I think is immensely valuable. Glen, thank you very much.
I know we need to finish, but let me finish with this and say that stories are how we make sense of the world. Stories are how we imagine our future. And what is better than a passive story is a story where you have agency.
Yes.
And you can make decisions, and that's what a game is.
Absolutely. Kindred spirits, I love speaking to you, and I'd love to spend a lot more time with you online. We pushed for time, unfortunately, but I'd really like to maybe continue this conversation going forward, and maybe have you back at some of our future conferences to talk about the latest developments and things as we go forward. Glen, thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I really look forward to our next engagement.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you for the opportunity. I think it's really important, the work that you're doing and getting the message out there. You know, this is not for kids sitting in their underpants on their mother's couch.
Absolutely.
Gamification can change everything. So thank you, Chris, for flying the flag. Have a good one.
Thanks, Glen. Chat to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Thanks, Chris.